Hey guys, this is Birdman316. Today is the day of the long-awaited tabletop review of the betafpv starter kit 2. Now the reason I say 2 is this transmitter is a upgraded version or a completely different version of the starter kit 1. I've been told and I've seen on videos and stuff that this transmitter is way better than the older version. But of course the sticks are not stock. You know, these right here are removable and replaceable. It came with silver, so who wants one color? Why not dress it up, you know? And here's the back side of it. I hope I'm in correct aim because there's no screen on the back of this GoPro Hero 3. I'm not sure when they came out, but anyway, this takes like a 300 or 350 milliamp 2S battery, plugs in by the balance connection. It's pretty tricky to stuff those cables in there and close the door, but it can be done. It can be done. You're probably wondering why this is on the table. See that right there? That's how you bind it. Now, sometimes this kit, I'm not sure about anyone else but mine, sometimes I go out there flying, guess what? I can't arm the quad because I have to rebind the transmitter to the quad. It doesn't happen every flight, but sometimes, so it's good to keep an ink pen around because, well, this one right here is a dead ink pen, but you just turn the transmitter on, plug in the quad, and of course, your goggles. These are goggles, the ones that came with the kit, and just hit bind, and it binds itself if you need to do such. But after that, just fly normal. Now this transmitter here, it's got all your switches on there. This right here is your mode switch. Towards yourself is angle. Away from yourself is acro. Now this switch here is your arm switch. It's in off position, but this here towards yourself is armed. Back is disarmed, and I'm not really sure what these are. I think this is a 3-position switch here, and this is a 2-position. And one of these on the Deluxe or the Pro version, which has a 75 millimeter book, this is a 65 millimeter. One of these switches does your turtle mode on the Pro kit, which is, I think, the same transmitter. I've seen it both ways. It's either the same transmitter or a different transmitter. This one right here has got the buying toys protocol in it. Let's set this right here. This quad here, you notice it does not have the stock props. The stock props are the white props, the 4-blade props. These props are the Gem Fan 1219 tri-blades. Now you gotta keep in mind that some of these motors, these are 716 motors here, brushed motors. Some of these motors have a 0.8 millimeter shaft, others have a 1 millimeter shaft, so be sure and keep up with that because this one's the 0.8 millimeter. Now, you're not going to be putting a 1 millimeter prop on a 0.8 millimeter shaft. There's no way. It ain't going to happen. Now, these goggles here did not come with these antennas, of course, or the eyes, but it came with a couple of dipole antennas. These antennas do good. This is a, what is that called? I'll think of it in a little bit. I can't think of it right now. I'll think of it in a little bit. But anyway, let me get some of this stuff scooched over this way a little bit so I can make room. I gotta show you guys the case. Everything came in a case. This is the case that came in right here. This one. Open this up and I will show you this bag here, you probably can't see it too well, but it has a prop remover, a little charger, which comes with two LiPos, two one-cell LiPos. One of these ports, you can actually check the voltage. I think both ports actually you can use for charging. You plug this in your computer or a phone charging block. This is a cable for which you can charge the goggles, which is a micro USB connection and a regular USB connection to either go in your phone charging block or your computer. These dipole antennas here are the ones that came with the goggles. I never plugged them in. I went straight to my own antennas because dipoles are okay, but they're not the best. Normally, this bag of stuff would go up here, transmitter here, the quad here, and the goggles here. But of course, you gotta detach your antennas so everything will fit in the box here. Let's set the box to the side here. Okay, now the quad itself is a deluxe version of this. This is a, what do you call it, a 65S. Now the company that makes this is betafpv. This is a 65S Lite, which I got a little goop on here from a little crash I had the other day. Well, I ran into a tree and I tumbled because these goggles here, let's talk about these goggles for a second. These goggles here are really, really nice if you don't have any goggles at all, if you're starting out. But if you've been in the game a while, you want to get some better goggles, because that's what caused that crash, because I couldn't see where I was going. I flew straight into a tree. Straight into a tree branch. And it knocked me silly. But nothing broke. Canopy didn't break. I landed in the grass. Kind of a little bit of a mud, but didn't lose a prop. Now this one here, it's on the binding toys protocol, but I'm not sure if it can be bounded to that radio, so I'm not going to go monkeying with everything. So I have a jumper radio that I fly this with. I set this right here. Now this one here is the 65S itself, the main one. It's got your brushed 716 motors, as this one does. But this one here, you can hook up the Betaflight. It's got your micro USB connection right there. This one does not have any connections on it. This one does. Let me get my arm out of the way. This one does, but you can't. I tried it. It doesn't hook up the Betaflight because it's on the, I guess you could say, a deluxe silverware. I know I'm like a pinball bouncing all over the place, but this one here, you can actually tune it in Betaflight. And I finally got a good tune on this thing. It flies really good now. These goggles here is what I fly mostly. I've got some Scouts also. These are budget-minded Fat Sharks. Fat Shark right there. These were, I think, $69 plus shipping and whatnot. Now this antenna did not come with it. It came with a dipole antenna. Okay, Omway antenna, and so was the one on the stock goggles. This has DVR, and so does the original goggles that came with the kit. They set these right here. Now these here, these are the Eachine EV800s, not the Ds, because there's no DVR. This is also an Omway antenna, just like the one on the goggles that came with the kit. Now, in comparison with these goggles and these goggles here, they're very similar, but these, believe it or not, these have a little bit better video. You can see more clearly. But if you want DVR, these would be, again, where you can see them, these would be a good choice. Now they also have a model of these with DVR. So if you want to spend a little bit extra, a few extra bucks, 10 extra bucks, I'd get this one with the DVR. But these right here aren't bad. Now let me tell you something about the SD card. It goes right there. Now, you can't format the SD card in the computer and expect it to work in here. You have to format the card in here for it to work. I found out the hard way when I hit record and it didn't do nothing. So I thought, what happened? Oh, you have to format the card in the goggles that it came with, or format the card in the goggles. You can't format it anywhere else. But I hope this explained a lot. I've been spending a lot of time with this kit, getting to know it, and I found out the other day that that radio is not the jumper, and you can't go pushing your boundaries as far as range. I was standing in the front yard, and I went down. It lost contact, which is good. It goes down, but you don't want it to fly away. You want it to disconnect and drop. So I found it, went up again, but stayed closer. Now, when I stand in the back of my truck, I do get a little more range. I was standing in the front yard, so that probably affected the range somewhat. But with my jumper radios, I get way more range. So when you're flying with this kit right here, keep in mind you can't really go too far because the radio just does not have that range that the jumper has. But this whole kit was $129. No regrets at all. None, not a single regret. So guys, I hope that added to the other reviews. I'm sure there's lots of reviews on this one. I hope I covered some things that maybe some of the other guys didn't cover, or they cover some things that I didn't cover. So that's why we're all on YouTube, to help each other out and to cover things that others might have forgot, or they cover things that we might have forgot. So with that said, my friends, I want everyone to have a wonderful day, a wonderful night, wherever you are. Sayonara.